Welcome back, guys, to a brand new Echo CBG video. This time, we're going to be looking at the upcoming set releases, mainly the decks coming out of set 13, Flight of Chakrabarti, set to release in English during December. This set will bring with it a lot of exciting upgrades to existing decks, and honestly, I can't wait to check it all out with you guys. But first, if you guys want to tune in and help us playtest these decks, as well as come up with concepts that could potentially end up in these very videos, please do check in on our Twitch stream, streaming 2 times a week, looking to be every Tuesday and Friday at about 6 PM UK time or about 1 PM Eastern Standard Time. So, starting off with Set 13's poster child, or well, one of its 2 poster children, is the upgraded Youthberk list. Now, as we all know, Youthberk got introduced back in set DBTO 6, as well as the starter deck for Riker, which came alongside the first Wheelchair season, I believe. It's hard to believe it's been over a year at this point, but here we are. So this deck obviously kind of dominated the meta back around when it came out, as well as mainly during set 7 when Youthberk Royal Form Tempest came out. But ever since then, the meta's kind of sped up quite a lot, and we've not really been able to bring this deck back to prominence until today. For those of you that have kept up with the anime reveals, of course, we knew that Revolve Form Full Blast got announced a while ago, then the anime revealed it, and we thought, this seems kind of cope. But since then, we've received 2 new support cards that have done absolute wonders for the deck. And I can't wait to check it out with you guys, as well as the return of an old friend that we haven't seen in quite a while. So let's get into it. For the right deck, we're looking at old reliable Youthberk, with the starter, Youth following in footsteps Youth, which of course, as any D-starter does, allows you to draw a card when you're out on top of it when going second. Your grade 1, as always, is going to be Determined to Breakaway Youth, that has the skill that when you ride on top of him, you may Soul Blast 1, check top 3, add any Youthberk in its carding to your hand, and if you don't, you choose a grade 2 or less unit and call it to rearguard, and you put the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, normally this will be a detriment, but thankfully, with some of the new releases, we are looking to shuffle the deck a lot more readily than back when we had Kyber and Schneisel. Rest in peace, they want to shuffle deck, kept 5k, cool, thanks. Can't wait to play that again. But next is the Knight of Ardent Light Youth, which, when ridden upon with a card with the Revolver's ability, of course being Youthberk, you counterblast 1, check your drop zone, and add a grade 2 or greater card back into your hand. Now, until now, this has mainly been used as a way for us to recycle Revolve forms that we have discarded earlier on in the game. But since the new sets came out, we are looking to add a couple spicy new targets to that list that we're going to discuss with you guys very, very shortly. And finally, of course, Youthberk Skyfall Arms, the absolute icon of World Dress, in my opinion, whose skills are as follows. You can discard a card from your hand, check top 3, add a grade 3 or greater to your hand, and if it's a grade 2 or less, you can call it to rearguard instead. Namely, the important thing is that the grade 3 has to be a Revolve form. So you cannot add Skyfall Arms, you cannot add Protofall Arms, you have to add either Zest, Gust, Tempest, or Full Blast. And at the end of battle, if attacked, auto, you may choose a Revolve form from your hand, write it as stand, -2 drive, and at the end of the turn, all the Revolve forms have the ability of, at the end of the turn, you put them back into the soul and you re-ride a card with the Revolver's ability from your soul. So ideally, it's like a little mask change, a little like kind of a camera transformation. You kind of go off it, you go into a different form, and then you go back into your original Youthberk. So this will do it for our right line. We're going to leave it up on top here to help you guys remember what you're looking at, because as we learned from some recent results, some people can have a pretty short memory span. For our trigger lineup, you will be surprised to find out our best friend is still here. Everybody's least favorite mechanic, the Overtrigger. Now, normally, if you guys remember, people used to run the Keter one. I always argued that was wrong. I was preferred, I think it was Olbaria, the Cryometal one. My argument always being, you drive check so much, or you deck thin so much as well, that you often come to deck out, especially the mirror would come down to a deck out game sometimes. So I would much rather give rearguards 100 million power than the ability to just check a blank. Also, this deck runs so much like Fake Shield that I would much rather just have the power. And because when Youthberk swings, there's always going to be a standing rearguard. Youthberk is never the last swing. Then you're always going to get 2 extra attacks that demand a PG. And with how much you drive check, that's very decent likelihood that card's also going to have a crit on it. So again, I think Red OT is the correct choice. Second option, Blue OT, but I don't think games at the moment, especially come set 13, actually last long enough for this to come up in any meaningful way. Next, of course, we're looking at getting 8 crits, as well as the best crit in the game, Disma, because if you don't like this, you may Disma balls. And the standard 4 heals, again, this deck runs so much fake hand that I don't like the idea of gambling on matchup-specific heals, so I think just generic 15k heals are probably the way to go. And because, like we said earlier, you're drive checking so much, and there's always going to be a standing rearguard, in my opinion, you're always going to want to be swinging for fronts. If you don't hit crits, you want to be seeing fronts, because draws get you much deeper into the deck, into normally 0 shield. So I would much rather have the extra 5k, as well as putting the extra trigger on Vanguard and a rearguard that is going to be probably connecting. Because people tend to panic and PG a Vanguard. But that's really only the beginning here. Next up, we're going to be looking at our grade 1 lineup. So we're going to get the boring bits out of the way first. Of course, we're looking at 4 PGs, 3 of which being any Perfect Guard with the discard protection, and 1 copy of Elementary Sanctitude. Thankfully, you're not a grade 4 deck, that comes later. So you do want to be able to deal with them, especially from our testing. Drajul is looking to be a very, very scary deck in set 13. So you're going to want to be able to deal with that when that comes around. You want to be able to make sure you PG attacks and don't ditch any more than you absolutely have to, because you end up finding that all of your pieces are very, very, very reliant. Well, other than your PG, of course, we're going to be looking at 4 copies of Sequana. The thing with Sequana, as you guys well know, is whenever your Vanguard is Youthberk, important to note, Youthberk is specifically distinct from Youth. Youth is grade 0, 1, and 2. Youthberk is the grade 3. That matters because a lot of the new support specifies Youth, but Sequana is from the old world and wants Youthberk specifically. So she becomes a 10k booster, and when your unit is placed on Vanguard by the Revoltress ability, she may go to Soul and turn your Vanguard's drives into 1. Now, the reason that's important is sequencing does matter here a little bit, but any of you who have been playing the game for long enough are already aware of that, especially those of you playing this on Dear Days right now. The gimmick with Youthberk is especially Revolt Form Gust, but now Full Blast as well. Because Revolt Dress gives you -2 drive, so your normal Revolt Forms don't drive check, Gust can gain 1 drive. So if you end up using Gust first and then Sequana, you stay on 1 drive. But if you activate Sequana first, set its drive to 1, and then Gust goes +1, you actually go back to Twin Drive. Same case with Full Blast. Full Blast as well gives you a drive, so you want to make sure you do the Sequana first. After Sequana, you're going to be looking at 2 copies of the cat, the Jewel Beast cat from set 12. That's going to be releasing, well, the sneak peek is happening tomorrow. I believe the set release is next week. So I guess that dates this video, I suppose. Their effects, there are cards introduced in set 12. Every nation gets one, but their effects kind of vary a lot. So their effects, they can be placed either on Guardian Cycle or Rearguard. And they have, personally, something I quite like as a mechanic, which is starts utilizing the Ride deck as an exclusive resource. So their on place, be it Guardian or Rearguard Cycle, is return 2 cards that originated from your Ride deck, from either your Soul or your Drop Zone, back into the Ride deck. And if it's on Guardian Cycle, this is a skill shared amongst all of them. It gains 15k shield, thereby becoming a 20k shield, so giving Youthberk a much, much needed shield. But its better effect, in my opinion, is the Rearguard effect, which is same cost, check top 5, call 1. That's fantastic, because between the next card and one of the brand new grade 2s, you're going to be finding that if you hit the nuts early, it really, really does help the deck take off. Because the thing with Youthberk now is it used to be a deck that could outgrind most things, just because of how much you plus on your board control. But obviously the game is sped up since, so that's not really a viable strategy anymore. So what becomes now the case is you try and increase your utility, while somewhat trying to downplay your low rolls. So before this, if you hit Tempest going first, that was cool. You 1 drive check, you maybe bought one of the things, draw 2 to hand. It was fine, but often you drive check 2 blanks, add 2 triggers, sucks to suck. It is what it is at the end of the day. But now, you want to be trying to get off Full Blast turn 3 every single game, because turn 4 onwards it's kind of mid, especially because this build doesn't actually run Persona Rides, because I don't think that's necessarily needed in Youthberk. Maybe you can stick 1 in, but I'm not its biggest fan. But you do want to be trying to get Full Blast off each and every single time. And the card to help facilitate that is this brand new grade 1. Now, the thing with Carino is she has the effect of auto when it is discarded from your hand or placed on Rearguard Cycle. If your Vanguard is Youth, again, important to note Youth, not Youthberk, so it applies to grades 1 and 2 as well. You may search your deck or drop zone for a Revolve form, add it to your hand, and if you add a card to your hand, you have to put a card from your hand into your soul. So what this effectively says is search your deck or drop zone for a Revolve form, put it into your soul. Now that is absolutely phenomenal, because this activates whether you discard it for Rye deck, you can call it, you can find it off Cat, you can discard it for Youthberk skill, you can discard it for Gust skill, you can discard it for almost anything as long as it happens during your turn. You'll see her effect later on when we show you some test hands, but obviously again, if you want to tune into those test hands, do tune into our streams. We will be posting about them on our Twitter, twitter.com/EchoCVZ, although I guess we're on X now. Okay, man, the year is 2023, we are crumbling. But, that being said, we're looking over to our Grade 2 lineup, because once we get to our Grade 3 lineup, you'll see it's pretty bare bones, but it's actually really, really interesting in my opinion. So our Grade 2 lineup is fairly thin. In terms of our Grade 2 lineup, we're looking at running 3 copies of Drilling Angel. The reason for that is because, as you'll find a bit later on, until now this was our only real way of getting Revolve forms into Soul. His effect is on place. You choose a card from your drop zone, put it into your soul, check top 3 for a card with the same card name, and you may call it to rear guard. If you don't shuffle, then proceed to shuffle the deck. Has to be the exact same card, so it can be a bit funky, but this is generally your way of getting other copies of Revolve forms into your soul. So you're able to like discard them for Rye deck, then call this, and just start soul charging. That's really the only goal of the card, so it's not like fantastic, but you'll find that it is incredibly useful in conjunction with the main Grade 2 from set 13, whose effect is when this unit is placed on rearguard, if your Vanguard is Youth, again, you're looking at Youth, not Youthberk, so this activates on turn 2. You're looking to search your deck or drop for a Revolve form, put it into your soul. If you search your deck, shuffle the deck. And if your soul has 3 Revolve forms with different card names, you may Soul Blast a non-Revolve form card and draw a card. So this is a way to cycle, this is a way to deck thin. This again lets you recycle cards you discard from your drop back to the drop zone. And as well, when your Vanguard is placed by Revolver's ability, she gains 5k. So what you end up finding is this deck actually has 11 different ways to recycle your Revolve forms and put them into Soul when needed. And the insane thing is, even if you somehow burn through all your Full Blasts, if you get rid of any of them, you're able to use these to fetch them back into the hand. If you use the Grade 1, you're able to search your... If you use the Grade 1, you're actually able to search a card to your hand, and then put something else into your soul, then place this, deck thin one more from drop to generate 1 more soul, and then Soul Blast the other card you put into soul to draw a card, so you're kind of able to like really, really efficiently cycle through the deck. And the really insane thing is, in combination with either the Grade 1, or if you saw Revolve form with Drilling Angel, means on its own, you're already guaranteed to get Full Blast on turn 3, because you'd be able to either play whatever you discarded, you'd put into Soul with Drilling Angel, or you go Grade 1 Angel, search Zest, call this, go Gust, Intercept. It will die, because your opponent will probably swing at you, because they're going to have to swing at you eventually. And then you ride your Grade 3 Youthberk on top of Youth, Counterblast 1, add her to your hand, call it again, and then after you've called it, you search the 3rd Revolve form, and then if you have yet another Revolve form in your hand, you could potentially use it to add Full Blast to your hand, and you kind of just go from there, and it's absolutely fantastic. And the deck feels incredibly strong to me, especially come set 13. I think this deck will end up being an absolute menace. And although I am a little bit worried about the power level of set 13 as a whole, I am very, very excited to get this looked at. The thing with Full Blast is, those of you that might already be aware of its effect, it is the new final form of Youthberk, whose effects are as follows. When he's placed on the Vanguard cycle, you counterblast 1, and fulfill the following criteria, or activate the following effects based on which Revolve forms you have in Soul. If you have Revolve form Zest from the trial deck, you gain a critical. If you gain Revolve form Gust, you gain 1 drive check. And if you have Tempest, what you will do is you will choose one of your opponent's rearguard and guaranteed bot deck it. Now the extra effect, and there was a bit of confusion about this, but this is the way the effect works. He also gives your entire front row 15k. The thing with that is that only applies if you meet all 3 conditions. So if you have all 3 in Soul, he also gives your front row plus 15k. Now, when this card initially got released, we thought it was really, really, really mid, but the problem was that there was no real reliable way of doing it. So until now, the way you would have had to do this is activate Drilling Angel, Drilling Angel will put something into Soul, and after you're done putting things into Soul, you are going to pray you don't kind of brick on anything else, and then you'll end up effectively just writing this again, and again, and again, and eventually this will activate like turn 6, which would be way too slow, and really you'd be dead by then. Youthberk doesn't survive that long anymore. But with the new Grade 1 and Grade 2, what you're looking to do is on first time you activate either the Grade 2 or the Grade 1, you're going to charge Zest, because you want this thing out of your deck. This card is awful, and only works here to facilitate the 1 crit and the 15k. And when we get a little bit greedy, is we only run 2 copies of Revolve Form Gust, and only 2 copies of Revolve Form Tempest. Now, this is about the same Revolve Form count as before, except we don't run any Persona Rights, none at all, and your general aim is Soul Blast charge this first, then depending if you're going first or second, you're looking to Soul Charge Gust and Tempest. Tempest will probably be your ride if you're missing Full Blast, so it's kind of like lowest priority, but generally speaking, you're trying to Soul Charge everything by turn 3, which is actually more reliable than you'd think. And once that happens, you're just able to pop off, aggro your opponent, and just end the game there and then. Now with this, the deck profile is basically what I'd consider to be optimal for the time being. I could potentially see you cutting the odd slot here and there to maybe fit 1 Persona Ride, or 1 copy of this girl from set 2, of Reedy, whose effect is Soul Blast 2, not once per turn, increase the power of triggers by 5k, because very, very often Youthberk will end up with massive, massive souls, and you really just want to utilize that, although now with the new Grade 2, we are looking to be able to utilize that soul to draw more cards, so I'm a bigger fan of that, but I can still see either of them being used. Now we're going to probably shoot off and watch a couple test hands coming straight from our stream. Again, twitch.tv/echo_CBG. We'll be streaming twice a week, and hopefully we'll see you guys there. Enjoy, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. So in terms of if you want to keep up with the game, or like test any card ever made, this is probably your best bet. But yeah. Hey, get bent. 1, 2 back. Oh, we are him. Holy shit, I am simply him. Right, I go first. Stand draw. Discard. Right, pass turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check top 3 and I'm going to find the Angel. I'm going to find the Grade 1. I'm going to find the Angel. I'm going to search Zest. It's just that easy. We are simply him. Mushroom. Ooh, fuck. Okay. Okay. I see. Oh, wow. Okay, Jesus. Okay, Christ. Okay. Sure. That is kind of unreal. Whoa, that's cracked. Andre, what the fuck is that? That's kind of cracked. Yeah, that heal can stay there. Yeah, it's a no god for me, dog. Very cool. Smile. Right. That is pretty spicy. I'll give you that. We're gonna see the Angel. We are simply him. Effect. 1, 2. Top 5. Oh, right. So we gotta put these 2 to the bottom. Then we check top 5. Yeah, it's just that easy. Sure. I'm about to check a trigger. That's not a trigger. Oh, but that means we are also good for next turn, so it's good game. It's over. It's actually Joe Arida. It's actually Joe. I'm sorry, Andre. It has to be this way. it's actually Jova. It is finito. If we top deck like Drilling Angel, it's over. So in other words, we need to just not top deck Drilling Angel. Bro, do you want to calm the fuck down, brother? I will say that shit's fucking spicy. That rare is fucking spicy. 10k? Yeah. Smile. No triggers. Ooh. Okay. Very cool. Okay. Discard. Alright. You know what? I'm gonna say CB1. Add Gust to hand. Hey, Jaden. We're gonna call this down. Okay. Search my deck for a Tempest. Soul. And shuffle the deck. Effect. I'm going to discard Gust. Top 3. Am I going to see the Angel? I don't. But I do see her. Ah, I shouldn't have discarded the thingy Smile. Battle phase. And honestly... No, we should have searched Gust, because we would have been able to have the Tempest in hand. Cringe. Ah, we actually threw. Actually throwing. So yeah, I should have gone... True, I forgot he does that. Very cool. No god. Oh, there's she, piece of shit. There she is. Ah. Very cool. Pass turn. We actually threw so hard. So had we gone into Gust right now, we would have had a guaranteed full blast next turn without having to rely on the Angel or the Grade 2 we just drew. Unfortunate, but it's fine. You got a great pulls. Hey, yo, what'd you get? Oh yeah, set 2 of SV is out. I forgot. Holy shit. Yeah, shows you how much I pay attention. In fairness, we're going to be wrapping up stream pretty soon, I reckon. And then, hopefully the next day or two, there should be a couple deck profiles coming out, but then after that, we'll just be doing this like once or twice a week. I think next time will probably be Sunday. But we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be either Sunday or Friday. Probably Friday, actually, now that I think of it. There's stuff I gotta do around the house, so it is what it is. Yeah, it's going to be a semi-regular thing now. It's going to be... Yeah, I don't like this. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to say that's going to be a hearty no thanks, bro. 2 to pass. Very cool. Unfortunate. be a Sequana to solve. Oh, shit. Smile. No, Jeremy, after this I'm probably gonna jump off. I don't think I can stream another game. I'm probably gonna have to jump off and do some stuff. To the pass? Sure. Perfect. To solve, CB1. 5k here, 1 crit here, 15k to front. And swing. Yeah, Radalina. Go. Go ahead. No guard. First check. Second check. There you go. Unfortunate.